close your eyes for a second and imagine it's all gone. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, checking your phone, and seeing that your bank account is sitting at exactly $0. Your credit cards are maxed out. Your credit score is in the basement. The economy around you is shifting. Prices are climbing at the grocery store. And the old advice your parents gave you about saving for a rainy day feels like a cruel joke because for you, it's already a Category 5 hurricane. Now look at me, because today we aren't just talking about survival, we are building a fortress. This is the 2026 Zero to Wealth Playbook. This is exactly how you turn a dead-end balance into a legacy, starting right now in the most volatile financial landscape we've seen in decades. The first phase of this journey is the hardest because it requires you to do something most people would rather die than do. Look at the wreckage. We call this the financial survival phase. If you have $0, your first goal isn't the stock market, it isn't crypto, and it certainly isn't a side hustle that requires a $1,000 startup cost. Your first goal is oxygen. In 2026, oxygen looks like a high-yield cash reserve. But forget the big-name banks on every street corner offering you 0.01% interest. That's not a bank account, that's a storage locker that's losing value every single hour. You need to move your first $500 into a specialized, digital-first, high-yield account that is actually aggressive. I want you to feel the weight of that first 500. Why 500? Because in the American economy today, $500 is the difference between a flat tire being a minor inconvenience and a flat tire being a financial catastrophe that causes you to miss work, lose your job, and spiral back into the abyss. You aren't investing yet. You are buying the right to breathe. You are buying the ability to sleep through the night without that cold, sinking feeling in your stomach. When you hit that first milestone, take a moment. Feel that? That's the first time in a long time you've breathed without a weight on your chest. But don't get comfortable, because as soon as you can breathe, you're going to notice the shadows closing in. Those shadows? That's your debt. And in 2026, debt isn't just a monthly payment. It's a parasite that has evolved. We are moving into the debt destroyer strategy. And I need you to understand that the old ways are too slow for the world we live in now. You've heard of the Snowball method, paying the smallest debt first to get those quick dopamine hits. It's good for the soul, sure, but in a high-interest environment, we need to be more surgical. I want you to look at the new landscape of AI-driven payoff tools. These aren't just spreadsheets. We are talking about algorithms that scan your spending habits in real time, identify leakage in your budget, and automatically microtransfer $3 here and $7 there toward your highest interest balance before you even have a chance to spend it on a latte. It's like having a high-frequency trader working for your personal life. But whether you choose the psychological win of the snowball or the mathematical perfection of the avalanche, the rule in 2026 is non-negotiable. If the interest rate on that card or that personal loan is higher than 7%, it is a 5-alarm fire in your house. You do not decorate a burning house. You do not buy new clothes for a burning house. You put the fire out. Every extra shift, every item gathering dust in your closet that you can sell on a secondary market, every penny saved by switching to a generic brand, it all goes into that flame. You have to hate your debt more than you love your comfort. You have to become obsessed with the silence that comes when the collectors stop calling. Now, imagine the fire is finally out. The house is scorched, but it's standing. It's quiet. You have your emergency fund, and your debt is a fading nightmare. This is the danger zone. This is where 90% of people stop. They get a little bit of money in their pocket, they feel the sun on their face, and they start thinking, I've worked hard, I deserve a treat. They buy the I made it car with a 7-year loan. They upgrade to the luxury apartment that eats half their paycheck. Do not be 90% of people. We are entering the automated investor phase, and this is where the magic of compounding turns your effort into an empire. In the 2026 market, you don't need a complex portfolio of 30 different stocks that you spend all day tracking on a screen. You need the 3-fund fortress. This is the strategy used by the quietest millionaires in America. First, you put 60% into a total U.S. stock market index fund. You're betting on American innovation, from AI to energy. Second, you put 20% into international developed markets. Why? Because the world is getting smaller, and growth is happening in places you can't even pronounce. You want a piece of that. And third, you put the final 20% into a shock absorber. This could be a real estate investment trust or a high-yield bond fund. This isn't just a portfolio, it's a machine, and the key to the machine is the autopilot switch. You set this up so that the very second your paycheck hits your account, before you buy groceries, before you pay your electric bill, before you even see the money, the system takes its cut. You are taxing yourself for the privilege of being wealthy later. If you never see the money, you never miss it. You learn to live on what's left. And while you're sleeping, while you're at your 9 to 5, while you're playing with your kids or taking a walk, those tiny digital soldiers are out there in the global market, working 24 hours a day, building your empire dollar by dollar, share by share. You aren't working for money anymore. Money is officially your servant. But as those shares grow and as your career progresses, a monster starts waking up in the basement of your mind. It's a monster we call lifestyle creep. It is the most sophisticated dream killer in the history of finance. You get a $10,000 raise, and suddenly your brain tells you that your perfectly functional car is embarrassing. You start looking at houses with extra rooms you'll never sit in. This is the treadmill. You're running faster, earning more, sweating harder, but the view never changes because you're moving your finish line every time you get close to it. To stay on the path to true wealth in 2026, you have to redefine what status looks like. In the old world, status was the logo on your belt or the zip code on your mail. In the new world, status is time sovereignty. It's the ability to say no to a boss you don't like because you have 2 years of expenses in the bank. It's the ability to spend a Tuesday afternoon at the park because your investments paid for your lunch. The real status symbol is a boring car and a massive brokerage account. I want you to look back at the road we just walked together. We started at zero, in the dark, with no hope. We found oxygen with a $500 safety net. We used modern tools to hunt down and kill the debt that was dragging us into the dirt. We built a 3-fund fortress that grows while we sleep, and we put a guard at the gate to make sure our ego doesn't spend our future. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. There are plenty of videos on this platform that will lie to you and tell you that you can be a millionaire by next Thursday if you just buy their course. This isn't that. This is the get-rich-for-sure scheme. It's boring, it's disciplined, and it works every single time it's actually followed. The math of the 2026 economy is indifferent to your feelings. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you think it's unfair. The math only cares about consistency. So here's your challenge. Don't just close this video and move on to the next one. Take one action right now. Open that high-yield account. List your debts from smallest to largest. Set up a $5 a week auto transfer to an index fund. The clock is going to tick whether you start today or not. 5 years from now, you are going to be 5 years older. The only question is, will you be 5 years closer to a life of total freedom, or will you still be standing at zero, wondering where the time went? The map is in your hands. The playbook is written. Now go out there and execute. Your future self is counting on you.